how much do I have? I've got 5. Oh, we could make them, to be fair. Do I steal the idea? I think that's so cute. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to a brand new week and a brand new stream. I'm here today with the purpose of hopefully fully completing the kitchen that we made a start on last week. Since the last stream, I've not made huge changes. I've kind of just like switched some things out for better things, having looked at it with a second glance. I tried to perfect the skylight window that we have because the sunlight coming through was looking a bit strange. You didn't see that in the last stream because I didn't have the item for it, but I have now added the beam of sunlight coming into the kitchen, which I think is just the finishing touch that it needed. And I've made a very, very minimal start, kind of, to the pantry. So the plan for today is to potentially finish the pantry. And then I have one other idea for the tiny storage room right by the front door that's currently empty that I think would be fun to try. I have no idea if it's going to work, but spoiler alert, the attempt is to make a loft space, as in a fake loft with a ladder. I think it's probably doable. But without further ado, let's actually get into building. I am already at the plot and I'm ready. I can quickly show you the updates that I've made. Nothing on the outside has changed. I don't think I'm going to touch the outside and probably until the end because we don't have a huge amount of budget and I don't know, I'm a little bit too drawn to the inside right now. Like my hair's going crazy. I didn't do it over the weekend. So if I'm touching it all the time, do excuse. It's a little more frizzy than I would like to have it, but I'll deal with it later. So, this is where we left off, I believe. We added that skylight window above the kitchen. The only things that I have done is actually added the beam of sunlight, like I said. I tried 2, but it ended up being way too bright. But I think I've just about got the angle of it right so that it looks nice. It almost looks like a sunrise with the quite harsh angle. I changed some of the color scheme, so the curtains up here were originally a sagey green color, and I just thought actually I quite liked this maroon shade. I changed the curtains over here too because I didn't want teal clashing over here. And I noticed that there was a lot of purple cool tones in this corner. I switched out the red and the blue. I preferred the purple and the blue/teal. So I changed the curtains to try and match that a little bit. And obviously these colors are different, but they at least complement each other a little bit. What else did I do? I added a backsplash successfully to the cooking area. I didn't know how to do this in the last stream. I couldn't figure out a way that I thought would look nice. But what I've essentially done is taken 2 types of window. I believe one is the kind of oval shaped elven window, and the other one inside it is the ochre window from Donegal. And I thought they actually fitted together quite nicely and the colors matched the hob in general, and I thought it just spruced up the back wall a little bit. Speaking of the back wall, we've added a lantern up at the top and I added a second shelf. It's looking like a severe fire hazard if I'm being honest, but that's fine. I just wanted something to occupy the space because it was feeling a little bit blank, so I put 3 separate books from my storage up there, and then just popped a hanging ivy that is cascading down, which I thought looked quite pretty. I added some cabinets into this actual long cabinet along the top just because it was looking a little bit plain, and I just injected some color on the paint on the front. I have kept that green, and I'm wondering now that I'm looking at it if it's a bit weird, but there's green down in the bottom and there's like touches of green throughout the whole kitchen, so I'm gonna leave it for now. And I switched out the kind of book reading area. I just changed the colors like I mentioned, and then here I added a little tray table with some food on it. I shrunk the Kaheti something platter down really small. I thought it looked quite artisanal, with a cup of tea and a little ink fountain. I say little, it's actually the biggest thing on that table. The table itself is a bench that I've shrunk down and customized the colors of to try and fit it in with this aesthetic a little bit. So I'm happy with how the reading nook is, if I'm being honest. Maybe we'll come back to it in the future. Over in the storage area, I've literally just added some barrels, as you can see. We're going to potentially work on this today if we have some time. And this is where I was thinking of trying to make a fake loft space with a ladder, because I don't know how I'm going to fill this ceiling space otherwise. So I'm planning to cut it off with a platform with a little gap and a fake ladder going up, as if there's storage up there. Which leaves us with the pantry. It was empty on the last stream. I have made a start because I just couldn't help myself. I had some ideas and I wanted to get them out of my brain and onto the screen. So I'll show you what we've done. I've added a ton of separate individual beams up in the ceiling because I thought the exposed beams were quite a nice vibe, especially for a pantry. I've added some lanterns across the whole thing. I've got the mason jars kind of hanging across, and then the bigger golden lanterns hanging down at different heights. I added some plants along the top as well. So there's ivy on this one. The angles in here are going to be tricky because it's such a small room. I put ivy on this one, and then I tried to wrap the... What's this type of bush called? This is called... Should have some more, right? The hosta bush. I took about 6 of these hosta bushes and wrapped them around the beam at the top, and it kind of looks like it's purposeful, like a wreath of some kind. I thought it was just a nice touch and gave a little bit of dimension to the exposed beams, and then I just left the middle one empty because why not? Other than that, there are a ton of items that we plan to use in this room. I just haven't actually got round to placing them yet, and there's, I'm sure, many, many more. The thing I have done is created this little makeshift winery. I thought this back wall needed something quite large, so I upscaled a trellis with the vines on it, changed the color to match the wood, and then we have this grapevine item. It's actually shrunk down and angled so that it fits into the cabinet, but it looks like this originally. I just thought that big bushel of grapes on the top had a lot of potential. So I took some time to play around with it and shifted the angles and the size, and I managed to just about hide it on this table so that it looks like it's just the grapes that have been hauled in from outside, and then I added a little basket in the back as well, which I believe is empty. Yeah. And then since there's grapes here, I thought, well, we may as well make it look like there's wine being made. So we've made use of the keg with the tap, and then I have another stopped barrel that I thought matched the color scheme quite nicely. And since then, I've actually gained another item called the wine barrel. I think I made this with alchemy. I've been leveling up previous expansions alchemy for some more decor pieces. And I mean, I feel like now we have to use this because it's literally got grape juice floating in the top. I don't love that it's got spikes on it, but that's all right. I think I'm gonna size it down, and then maybe I just put it in the front, maybe the smallest barrel. I mean, to be fair, if it's that small, it can go under the tap so that it looks like it's wine freshly made. Does that look okay? It looks fine. That's quite cute, isn't it? I'm not sure if I want it right in front or if I want it off to the side, but this does make sense in my opinion. I feel like you wouldn't have a open barrel of juice just off to the side. It needs to be in use, doesn't it? So that's everything in the pantry. The only other thing I wanted to point out is there is a big corner of glowing light here because of that backsplash that I made in the kitchen. Because the two things making up the backsplash are windows, they're turned around, so they don't shine much light in this room, but they shine a lot in the adjoining room. So we're going to see if we're able to cover that up or anything. If not, I might just end up putting some lanterns in this corner, or maybe even in this corner to balance out the light on this side, but it's not too noticeable right now. The main thing we want to focus on is actually getting some furniture in this room. So I should probably clear a space. So with that in mind, I'm going to stick this on the wall for now, I think, so that I don't forget about it. Not entirely sure what I want to do with this yet, but it definitely has potential, especially in a pantry. Put that there. And then honestly, I'm going to put that in my inventory. I'm sure I'm going to remember to use that. So we have these market stands. I think I have more. Yeah, we do. We have the Stormwind produce? We don't call it that. Produce seller stand and the spice merchant stand, and then there's an empty one as well. So my immediate thought is they look a little bit irregular when they're this big in a domestic situation because they're market stands. They probably need to be smaller. I mean, hang on a minute. Is that it sized down half to 50%? That's crazy. So it's originally this big, which is completely unrealistic. I'm honestly tempted to shrink them all the way down because that looks like something you'd find more so in a house. But that means we need to put it on something. So do we just reheat nachos and use the same tables from the kitchen? I wouldn't be mad at this covered table. And now we should have a fair amount of different dye options because I spent some time off stream crafting a bunch of dye, at least the types of dye that we wanted for this. So we've got a ton of the heartwood brown wooden dye because that seems to be the brown tone that we're running with all of our wood so far. I feel like that table was too low. We might have to just go with the good old carved wooden bar table, and then maybe make it look distinct in some way or another. However, I was thinking of this being, we call it in the UK galley. So it's got countertops on either side. And then it would make sense to put something at the end, probably. So I'm wondering if we should start at the end. But I don't know how this is going to look. We can clip this through the wall. Like so. And then I feel like this will probably work. Can we get away with a tiny bit of clipping there? Maybe. Or we can ever so slightly make one shorter. I don't really mind how that looks. So the one at the end is fractionally taller. I'm just gonna pop this up here so it doesn't get lost. Is this gonna be too tight of a squeeze? Let's line it up with the back one. Oh gosh, this is hard. More or less like that. And then it also needs to be shrunk down until the corner is hidden. Like that. We will most likely change the color as well, just because the blue hasn't really featured too much in the house so far. I did have a thought while I was off stream, and I should probably try this now before I get carried away. I kind of am tempted to use this closet room adjoined to the pantry. I want to try and make it look like there's a cupboard inset in the wall, but I don't know how this is going to look. Because we have beams. I've placed most of these. I've placed the 3 middle ones myself. So I'm thinking maybe we have little built-ins here and here. That probably makes the most sense. And we do need a whole extra room just to do that. So there's going to be nothing in this room. It's going to be simply so that we can make fake cupboard spaces. How would we go about doing that? Maybe I want to use a stone wall. I kind of want to use the plain painted wall on this occasion. I'm going to try and do it from this side and then jump out before I get trapped. So we want this little window here. Something like that. That looks okay. And then I'll seal off the other side as well. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Maybe I should have used a narrow wall for ease. Like that. Yeah, we just want to close the gap, although I can actually see a gap right now. So I'm going to pull it to there. That looks better. I mean, we can maybe even fit tiny, tiny shelves in these little divots because that's dead space otherwise. But we've got to have some dead space for realism, let's be honest. Then to make cupboards, I'm thinking let's use some platforms. Although we can't change the color of platforms, I learned in last week's streams. Oh, Marswell Restaurant, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it very much. I've really been enjoying your content on Instagram. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? I have a feeling maybe shelves are going to work better actually, because these go in further than maybe I was expecting. I don't know though. Let's try. I then put a wall behind the shelf. I guess I could cut the shelf off actually. That does kind of work. If I brought it all the way back, so the shelf goes in deeper, I actually do like how that looks. But then we've basically negated the point of having the extra room, haven't we? Love your content too. Thank you very much. What kind of pantry you want to build? Currently, I'm just going for realism. So we have a kitchen here that's basically complete, and it's as realistic as I could get it in World of Warcraft. So we have a full cooking setup. We've got a sink. We've got some bread. We have a fake fridge that took ages to build, and a little spread of goods on the island here, and a greenhouse out the back. That's kind of the main feature of the house right now. So I thought having a room next door to the kitchen would make sense to have somewhere to just store food. So that's kind of what we're trying to go with here. But it's a work in progress for sure. What if we sink the wall down so that we get the exposed wood? Can you see over the top? No, you can't. Looking awesome. Ah, thank you. It's been fun trying to like get stuck in with housing and play around, see what works, see what doesn't. Maybe this is what we're trying to go for. I think I see the vision, I think. But then look, I'm gonna have to bring this wall forward, aren't we? That's fine. As you know, I'm very boring. Not at all. You made a whole restaurant. It looks incredible. My restaurant is as it is, and that's it. I love it. I'd love to come and visit. What gave you the inspiration to make a restaurant? Okay, so if this is kind of what we're going with, I would probably add additional shelves. I'm gonna be really rude and climb on the counters. I knew this room would be tricky to furnish with how limited space we have. The camera angles make it rather difficult. It's more or less okay. Yeah, this is pretty much what I was thinking, although what if we turn this shelf around? Oh, it's the same on both sides. I wanted the seam in the wood to not completely line up, but we could potentially just shift it along or size it up. No, we can keep it the way that it is. I'll expand in midnight, but that's it. I'm a foodie and hobby cook. I was a pancake food truck owner, so cooking is second nature to me. Oh my goodness. When I saw those food decor items, I immediately had to remake. Since I never had a restaurant but always wanted to, that was my opportunity. That's amazing. What a lovely story. Also, what did you call it? A pancake food truck. That sounds amazing. I do love pancakes. We can definitely fit one more shelf in this little inset cupboard, can't we? Oh my goodness, the rotating is quite tricky. Just do it myself. Raise it up and bring it forward. I think 3 works well. I might seal the top. The top looks a little bit strange to me. If we grab another one. And maybe we can get away with sizing this one up. Something like that. That looks better. One piece of advice I definitely have, and I've had to kind of follow this myself, is to step away from whatever you're building frequently, because looking at it close up is not necessarily the same as looking at it from afar or when you enter the room or something. And if you step away, you might often find something that you want to change or add or remove. Love my food truck. Alas, got cancer in the way yet again, and I had to drop it. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. Now you can live out the pancake fantasy in WoW, which is very, very exciting. Do we have a pancake item? I haven't found one yet, but maybe we have one in Midnight. As a pancake connoisseur, what's your favorite topping to put on a pancake? Okay, now we just have to replicate this on the other side of this pillar. So we took one of these walls. I'll take a narrow one. Then we bring it all the way down. Ink. Not quite that far. I think it's sort of like this. It probably needs to come forward. Oh, this is really tricky. Stepping away and looking from all sides. I learned that the hard way when I was really happy from the front. I look at it from the side. Yeah. Yes, that is the way. At least it's nice and easy, usually, to fix things in player housing, I would say. Okay. This one could be interesting because we're probably going to have to move the barrel or maybe just tuck more barrels underneath. But we don't have the counter space to hide underneath this one, unlike the one next to it. So I wonder if we just... I'm not going to keep this here, but we could very easily just do this, couldn't we? I think that would look fine. Just cover that hollow space a little bit better. I'm starting to get a tiny bit concerned about the budget. We have a lot, if you look. We're 637 out of 2050, but it's not necessarily that one item is one in your budget. Some are 3 or 5. So you don't have as much as you think you do, usually. And we've only made like barely 1 room so far. But I think I know exactly where to gain some budget back if we need it later down the line. Now trying to get these level. My trick for this is to just push the one you're working on over the one you're trying to match it to until they clip nicely together, more or less. And then zoom it back across rather than trying to create a fake ruler in your mind to try and line them up. I love a strawberry cheesecake pancake with whipped cream. Oh my goodness, that sounds delicious. My second fave, I call the Big Mama, which is Nutella, fresh bananas and strawberries, whipped cream, chocolate sauce, and coconut flakes, finished off with a piece of Kinder Bueno. You're going to make my stomach grumble. That sounds incredible. My pancake toppings are much more just plain than what you just suggested, but that's because I'd probably be making them myself, and if I were to go to a pancake van or get pancakes in a restaurant or something, I'm probably much more likely to do something more interesting. But both of those that you suggested sound unreal. I'm sure they were very, very popular. This is coming together how I imagined, which is nice. Just wanted to ask what your fave food and pancakes are. Ooh, favorite food is a really tricky one. Favorite food. What would be my favorite food? I can probably more easily answer a pancake topping question because my horizons haven't been broadened quite so much. I love berries on pancakes, and I think berries and dark chocolate go really nicely together. So I would do, I don't know, I could go with like forest berries and dark chocolate. I could go with like black forest gateau, so dark chocolate and cherry. That sounds nice. If I were making them myself, I would just probably, I used to do just blueberries and strawberries that I heated on the stove from frozen. And then they kind of create like a jam, right? And then have those with some kind of syrup or something. In the UK, it's quite typical to just have lemon and sugar. I don't mind it, but even I can do something a bit more imaginative than that personally. But yeah, anything berries, I'm all over. Just because I like I think the culinary term is like tartness. It's nice eating something sweet but having that lashing of something slightly sour. I enjoy that. I'm also always down to have like Biscoff or something on a pancake. Biscoff and banana go great together, in my opinion. How much is this sized up? 60%. Let's try and match it, shall we? Something like this. How are we looking? Not bad. I had both savory and sweet ones at my place. People loved it. Ooh, savory pancake. Interesting. Caesar pancake, pizza one, Greek one. Oh my goodness. I don't think I'd ever considered a savory pancake apart from typically more American style, but bacon and maple syrup. But that's still kind of leaning sweet. But I didn't care for that too much, personally. Savory pancake, interesting. I mean, the base of a pancake lends itself to being sweet or savory, doesn't it? Because it's just kind of flour and egg and milk, not much else, I think. I made it my channel points icon, the Big Mama. Oh, I love that. That's such a fun story to tell when people ask about you. You love sugar and lemon? I mean, it's a classic, isn't it, to be fair? My cheesecake one in the truck was strawberry jam, vanilla pudding, forest berry mix, and grated Biscoff. That sounds like a dream. That probably would have been my order then. Never put sugar in my pancakes, and they're really, really thin, so savory works really well. Yeah. Okay. So we have some inset cabinets. Annoyingly, from this side, I'm like seeing some gaps. But then when you move closer, you can't see them. Why is that happening? Am I going to have to like stick a pillar back there? Maybe a pillar would work, actually. Just hide some of our sins here. You can't size a pillar down is the only thing. But if I push it back... Don't know if this makes any difference, does it? Oh no, I think it does. Just need to do the same thing on this side. I appreciate the camera angles on this stream are going to be tough. Like, this room is very, very small and I don't really have anywhere to stand without deleting items, so it looks a bit messy in terms of the first person camera and whatnot. Just bear with, it's going to be worth it. I don't mind the seam like that, matches on both sides. Mine are a special grandma recipe, so there is 6 ingredients. Ooh. What are you going to put in the cabinets? That is a great question. We're going to need a bunch of just clutter items. Speaking of which, I've kind of used a ton already in the kitchen. If you look, we've got a row of books up at the top of the fridge. We've got some drinks. I made a makeshift little fake pot by putting 2 size down cushions on top of each other. This just looks like a, I don't know, a pot of sugar or something. There's a bottle in the back, a basket, another book, and just more shelves of stuff. So probably doing the same sort of thing as here, but I don't think I've got much left. I'm going to have to get more. This isn't a bad start. This always, to me, looked like a sack of potatoes. I think it's like the first decor item you get for some reason. So maybe if we size this down... I'm partly tempted to put this on the ground because it looks really heavy. But if we're experimenting with what's going on the shelves, then maybe something like this. Do we want the front like that, or do we want the... I think the back is plain. No, I don't mind the front. It just adds a little bit more something, doesn't it? Well, that's one item. We can also get duplicates. I'm notorious for having one of everything. Then I have to go sniffing out the vendors or whatever we need to get the rest of them. Let's look in all accents. What do we have? I still haven't used my alchemist's retort, but I don't love that it's green, and I don't think you can customize it. Maybe we can hide it? What does the bottom look like? It's just got legs. I don't love that. I think the shelves are going to look a bit empty for now. We've got some books. Recipe books. I feel like they probably go at the top. Put food on the bottom. I was having this issue in a build recently where it wasn't letting me place things like this. I think it's because technically we're moving into a second room there, and it's not going to like us placing things over the cusp of 2 rooms. That is the only justification for it that I've found so far. And I'm worried that this isn't going to be able to set in far enough, so we're going to have to bring the shelf out ever so slightly. If you think about it, you would never put it like that in real life because unpractical to take out. Yeah, if that's a sack of potatoes, they're going to be very heavy, probably strain your back. You're not the only one. I do that with just one item. Yeah, it's tough. I've been doing it because I've been wanting my house level as high as it will go, which we've now managed to get to, which is level 5, right? So I think when Midnight comes out, I should automatically be able to get house level 6 because we're already over the cap of XP to get from 5 to 6. So I don't super need a bunch more items right now. But yeah, while I was trying to get those levels up, I just went around the world and bought every one of each type of item I could find and did quests and achievements and bosses and whatever to get one of each. And now that we're actually decorating, it's coming back to bite me. Do you think these paper lanterns could be something? They do have physics, so perhaps not. That's a shame. They're pretty. I have a riverbend net separate from the cupboard, but I was wondering, since we had one type of net in here already, this does kind of make a little bit of sense to have. I'm just going to put it on the wall for now. Keep forgetting to go to the Stormwind Pandaran book vendor in the Mage District. Yes, I forget that too. And there's an NPC, I think the Alliance one is in like by the stockades in the Mage District, and the Horde one is right by the portal room. You can get like a 1 or 2 pieces a day from doing a quest with that NPC, I think. But they're completely random, unfortunately. The only thing I'm seeing that's jumping out of me right now is putting some like curtains over the shelves just to make it look a bit more homely. I mean, we've got more books. This one is very, very large. And we would need to hide the fact that it's clearly Venthyr. But that's totally doable. Shrink it down. Didn't consider this as a potential when we made the second room, is things not being allowed to be placed up here. We want this axis and just tip it so it leans against the wall. Something like that. How big is this rug? And can it be customized? No, it can't. I think a runner in this galley would look pretty. But do I have the type of rug that would look nice? Because I don't think we can customize most of them. We have the simple round rug, but something long and skinny would be best. Maybe we'll have to come back to that. Or we could make a fake checkered floor, potentially. Good job on level 5. I'm 33 items away from it. Annoys me the heck out. You got this. I mean, whether you get it before midnight or not, when midnight comes out, it's going to be so much easier to get the housing levels. So even getting as far as you have is good going. What if I just look in all furniture? This. It's a rod. I think I made that again with alchemy. Maybe the bottle shipment? I'm not a huge fan of this item because of the skulls. But if they're set in the back, maybe it will look okay. I don't think I can turn them so that you can't see any of the skulls. Annoyingly, you can see them from every angle. But we could put something in front of it so that it's less noticeable. And the idea here, at least, is to put stuff in front of it. Oh, we're definitely going to use these. Look how cute these are. That's a good thing to put in front, actually. It's just a little lantern. I'm going to put quite a big one. Should I put 2, or is that too bright? I think that's too bright. I like putting 2 of the same small item next to each other and then making one smaller than the other. Now I can't target it. There we go. Thank you for stopping by, Ma, and thank you for the follow. I appreciate it very much. Have a lovely rest of your day. We have candles. That doesn't make a huge amount of sense. We can put this crate. Wish it was a slightly different color scheme. Oh, it's not going to fit, is it? It's frustrating. No, that looks a bit strange. See you later. Actually, sorry, I've just had another thought. How does this look? Maybe this looks better than putting barrels underneath. That looks okay. Once we customize it. My go-to has been, I can never find it, Heartwood. Honestly, I might just do full Heartwood. Maybe we'll figure out a color scheme. I'm going to leave the blue part undyed. That looks quite cute, actually. I don't mind that. Also, I've lost my... Have I disabled my add-ons? No, I haven't. Can't remember what my housing add-ons are called. Decor vendor... Homebound. I've lost my ability to duplicate items. I think maybe my plumber being disabled was the reason. As long as you've got multiple, yeah, now I can duplicate. That's fixed. I was considering taking one of these cupboards and using them to fill one of the shelves because, I don't know, it uses the space and makes it look a bit more... I don't know. Maybe the open shelves is all we need. We'll keep it open for now. Gosh, we have lots of things. I don't really mind like a chest too much. I wish it weren't that like storm steel color. Guessing, yeah, we can't redecorate it unless we put it up top with something of the same color scheme. That would at least make a little bit more sense. We throw it up here instead. I'm not loving it, but I'm a bit limited in the items I can use up here right now. So in terms of filling space, maybe that's what we need. I have to remind myself that this is early access as well. Like, we're going to have so many more items available to us very soon. Ooh, this would be good. Let's grab this. Size this down. This would work well in this corner. Or just in this... on this shelf. Especially if we bring this out. My feeling now is that we tip this onto its side. And slot it back in. That looks better. Then what goes in here? Some herbs. I love making fake looking herbs. These work great, usually. But are they okay being this small? It's not bad. Do we have a dead herb in this one? Would that be funny? Or does that just look weird? That does look a bit weird. What else looks like a herb out of these? Duskberry bush? I think this is going to be too wide. Yeah. It does look nice. And it has berries on it. Wish it was slightly smaller. I used grass. Grass is a good shout. I did use that in the kitchen, didn't I? I actually need to go and get some more. I've only got one of the big one. Oh no, this is the really big one. We can add more grass. It does fit more or less. And then I'm wondering if I'm feeling even more extra. We could add some... Thinking of making 2 brown rugs because I don't like that you can see the wood at the bottom. It's less noticeable on the darker green one, but... And the corn. Yeah, the corn is a great shout. I only have, again, one of those and I've used it already. It's this one. Let me try this rug idea first. Because no matter what we put in here... What do they call it? Circular rug. No matter what we put in these things, I just dropped my circular rug inside that room and now I can't find it. And I can't remember how I get it back. That's okay. No matter what we plant in these planters, we're going to need something that looks like soil, I think. Are these going to be small enough? It might be tricky. Or maybe it's fine. We just need a little illusion of mud, of soil. That's all. Without clipping, preferably. That's okay. I think I have a fair amount of brown colors. Ooh, the earthen brown is pretty spot on. Such a tiny detail, but it's important to me, you know? Now does having, like, dead branches in here look any better, or does it still just look a bit strange? I don't mind it, but it's not very noticeable. I'll get rid of it. Wonder if the razorwind tree could look like broccoli or something. Razorwind tree. Oh, this one? I do love this tree. My issue with it is, I think for scaling it down, it's too big. I want to use it somewhere, I just don't know how. I saw, was it Zepla? I don't know if she came up with this idea or got it from someone else. She made carrots out of those rolled up pillows, these elegant pillow rolls. If you customize these to be orange and green and then conceal them enough, they do look like carrots, which is really funny. I probably don't have enough dye to make that happen, but what I think I saw her do, you make the tip green of some kind. Don't really know what kind of green, I guess that. And then the rolled pillow orange, and it basically looks like a carrot. That is pretty fun. How much do I have? I've got 5. Oh, we could make them, to be fair. Do I steal the idea? I think that's so cute. Click advanced edit, and then at the top right are 3 lines you can click, and it lets you find items placed in your house by name. While scrolling over them, the item should light up. Oh, wait. Am I in advanced? Oh, this is advanced. This. Oh gosh, I've placed so many. Circular woolen rug. Not that one. Oh no. What happens if I click on one? If I know that this one is this. Okay. That's out there. Where on earth is that one? Oh, it must be... Oh no, that's under the fireplace. Why did I put that there? I don't know. That's getting deleted inevitably. Oh. Not that one. It's that one. Thank you, Scarin. That's really useful. Good to know. Good to know. Now, realistically, you don't grow carrots inside. But maybe I don't care because that is so funny to me. How many of these do we have? We have 4 in total. That's kind of a perfect amount if you ask me. I think I'm going to do it. I used Grizzly Hill Green because I think Lush Green might be a bit too much. That looks cartoony. I mean, the whole thing looks cartoony, let's be honest. Maybe this one, actually. Dust Swallow Green, I only have 1, though. That's tough. Let's go with Grizzly Hills Green. And then you like place them here. Oh no. It's not going to want me placing it. It's highlighted red. How would I get this to work? Where can I place it? Oh, I like can't, period. That's not good. I can place it in the room, but I can't place it in here anywhere. That's a shame. Maybe, can I find a space for it in the greenhouse? No, I think we're going to have to revisit the carrots. Would they grow out of this? That's okay. I'll just put the grass back and we'll move on. Grass patch. Works for me. A little bit bare, but that's because I don't have multiple that I can stack right now. Speaking of bare, should we maybe add another hosta bush? Let's see how this looks. That looks better, doesn't it? Oh, looks like a little place where you're growing indoor herbs. Don't mind that. Maybe just to fill this gap, and then it almost makes one of the little pigeonholes complete. I was going to just pop a little lantern or something. Oh, we could use more of these mason jars. They're adorable. These are from Borealis. You need, I think you need probably Proudmoore Admiralty rep or something. And then you also need war resources, which if you didn't play BFA is a bit tough. But they are really, really worth it. Okay. I used the keybinds to scale the Belemeth door frame wall, and because it's a bug and not supposed to do it, became unclickable to adjust or delete without using that item select tool. Oh, I see. Yeah, because I tried to scale up a door once and it wasn't working, but maybe it's because I didn't try using the keybinds. Oh, you're right. Why did I not try that? That's so strange. I could have used that in a previous build. Well, they might end up either removing it or letting us do it properly, which would be good. This little corner closest to the winery is looking like it's going to have alcohol in it. This bottle shipment is from Zandalari Alchemy, and it's got skulls all over it, which suggests to me that it's like spirits. So I'm kind of wondering about putting some more liquids here. I still come back to this silly retort. This is another alchemy piece, I think, or within alchemy. I really wish it weren't green. That looks so strange. What about in the... No, I can't do it. I could reheat nachos, actually. I like using these cushions sized down, and you can stack two on top of each other, one slightly more scaled down than the other, and it looks like a little pot. Maybe we could do that again. What colors do we have to work with? Got red. I like this rain poppy red. That's pretty. Ooh, I should have thought about this first. We do it something like this. That looks like a pot of something. Now, do we make this the same color, or does... No, I think it needs to be slightly different, doesn't it? Arc wine? Dusk lily? Trying to think what I have access to. Ooh, maybe the darker red. Gilnean rose. Let's do that. From afar, it just looks like a jar or a pot. Wish we had a kettle item or something. It's technically a bug, so that's why most people don't try it. I see, okay. Maybe I'll avoid doing it too then. Chamber stick can look like a pan if you stick the candle part into the wall. Ooh, do I have any of those? Is it called chamber stick? You're so right. I definitely should use this, shouldn't I? How do I go about hiding this in a wall? I guess I'd have to tip it on its side. I was thinking of like leaning it. Then I feel like you barely see it, annoyingly. And the chamber stick vertical. Like... Oh. Like that. Then... Oh yeah, I guess... Oh, the clipping. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. We can put it up against the back wall. It also low-key gives a tiny bit more light, which I'm not mad at. Or, actually... What if we hang it off the, like, pillar? That actually makes a bit more sense, in my opinion. That's a cute idea. Oh no, that looks bad. I made this Drost Enchanter's Rod from Alchemy, and I wondered if it would look like a hook. I'll just type hook. Okay, fine. post. Probably size one of these sorts of things down to make it look like a hook in the wall. How does this one look? Sure, why not? Thanks, Karen. That's a cool idea. I've gone through these so many times. I mean, I do have another fruit platter. I can't really be mad at that. I'm half tempted to put these just out. Do you think? Is that floating? Maybe a little bit. Maybe in this room would be a good place for the scrolls. I still haven't used these because they're a bit of a pain. I kind of don't hate it here, actually. Oh, all of a sudden I can't move it. I might just leave it where it is. Haven't used these. These make a lot of sense. In fact, I might like to move these up because these are ugly. I don't love these. So I think it looks better for these to be up here above those herbs that we've made. Could we make it look like a staggered spice shelf, potentially? If we put that type there, and then this one up here, but pushed further back and further up. I'm gonna make it the tiniest bit smaller, I think. Oh no, I can't make it smaller. This one has to be bigger. Just to hide the metal. It's not bad. And then do I maybe use my trusty weather-treated wooden table trick? Or is this gonna look bad? I was hoping to cover the sides, maybe? But this might be unnecessary. No, that doesn't look good. We could do a platform. Because you can shrink these down. Oh, maybe I'm not allowed. This was kind of what I was envisioning. But the clipping is maybe not the vibe. It's not bad, but is it fully necessary? I don't know. Oops. It's very likely that I'm going to delete this whole thing, and like, if it's not going to work, just because that's a lot of budget to spend on something that looks bad or you're never going to see, in my opinion. I was just wanting to do something like this, I think. It's not very even. That's what I was thinking. I do quite like how that looks, to be honest. I think that's fine. It's very high up, but that's fine. Oh, sorry for your deleted message, Scarin. Stream Elements snipes any links, but thank you for the inspo. I will check it out in a little bit, probably. Okay. So to be honest, that leaves like one completely empty shelf. I don't think I want to leave it completely empty. This side kind of needs more greenery, I think, which I do have plenty of. It's just a case of, I mean, do I just stick an ivy on it? Does that look really strange? Okay, well, the ivy looks fine, but it needs more. We can definitely do the ivy. I'm half tempted to put one up here too, actually. Because this is my least favorite shelf up here, and it's a little bit bare on the front. It looks okay. I don't love the plants creeping into the house look that seems to be quite popular. I don't really want that for mine, despite the fact that this room disregards everything I just said. But the ivy, it does create a nice look, in my opinion. All I have are like boxes, barrels. Does this look bad? Is it going to annoy us that one of the cubby holes is occupied. Like, I mean, I'm not going to love the clipping, that's a start. I'm not going to commit dye to this right now, but just so that we can make an informed decision. It does look a bit weird to me. It's a potential if we have nothing to put in there, or we can just leave it blank. I'd rather not, but we can if we need to, and fill it in later. Do you have any mugs or potions? Maybe you can use barrels and different colored cushions in the top to make it look like spices. Do you know what, actually, now that you mention it, I do have that one potion that works down here. Finally, I've not been able to find a place for this. It seems like for this specific cubby, because this is the doorway into the next room, even though you can't see it, I think the game doesn't want me putting items in it. But I mean, I can place the items, but then if I try and move them around, it's like, no, you're not allowed, sorry. So I'm just gonna set and forget, I think. I think the potion looks okay there. I don't mind that it's covered either, because it's black liquid. It doesn't look like it fits terribly well. What was the other idea? Barrels and different colored cushions to make them look like spices. That's a really cute idea. I've used all of my barrels in the storage room. Barrel. Oh, I still have quite a few. Preferably not the spiked ones. How small do these shrink down? I wouldn't mind them being quite large, to be honest. Does it look any better? Okay, it's the same on both sides. Wish we had like glass jars. That would be cute. I think I've used all of my small cushions for putting toppers on things. I thought this one probably worked quite well up here too. Oh no, please let me place this. I don't think I want them to be identical size, but we do want them to still kind of look jar-sized of some kind. Cushion. I have square ones. I have this ugly stitched Orgrimmar one. To be honest, what do those circular rugs look like? They're a little bit thin, but maybe they're actually fine for what we need. Oh, the other issue is they're not going to shrink down small enough. Okay. So we're going to need some cushions. Usually I keep a little shopping list on the side so I don't lose track of what we need. It was elegant seat cushion. Need a fair few of those. I'm running out of plants. Was there anything else I desperately needed? I don't think I'm going to focus on the rest of the house right now. I used barrels shrunk down with a cushion in it and the water faucet item to make it look like hand soap in the bathroom. That's really creative. I did something a bit similar. I made a bar of soap on a little dish out of one of the circular pillows and I just made it a nice lilac-y color. And then shrunk a table down. And it looks like a little fancy dish for hand soap. We're on a similar vibe. I don't think there's anything else I desperately need. I mean, trying to think of things that I have used already that would be good to use again, and I only got one of. That tea kettle set. Maybe I want another one of those. Elegant Drakthis tea set. I don't know. I don't love things that steam or smoke on shelves because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, we've got two things, or like a handful of things that we need to go and get. So what I'm going to do is take a quick break, and then when we get back, we will head out on a little quick shopping trip. And once we've got that, we should be more set to keep furnishing. So I won't be long. Alrighty. We are back, and I've decided to put my hair up because I'm so locked in and I was getting suffocated by my hair. We have a shopping list to go and complete. Elegant cushion and plants. So far, touch wood, we've been fortunate in that all of the decor that we've needed to go and restock has mostly just been from vendors in the neighborhood. Having said that, we haven't got into anything like crazy complex or niche yet. So if I want an elegant seat cushion, I feel like it's one of these guys.
I offer rare goods from distant realms.
Elegant seat cushion. This is the one. I'll grab 20. This character's going to run out of money. Don't think I want anything else.
Find me something memorable.
And then some more plants. I run out of grass.
You need something?
Elwyn grass patch. Really wish I could like buy multiples. 20 of those. I don't think I'm going to use too many more plants like this until we get to the exterior. Oh, I should have got the small ones. That's my bad. Let's get 20. Elwyn white bush. I think the rest is probably fine. I've got lots of boulders. I've got lots of stones. I have never seen this animation before. He is straight chilling. Good for him. I think that's it. Did I look at this vendor? Stovetop. Great. Maybe this... Oh, I have some. That could go on a shelf and look a bit better than the other boxes that we had. This could also work. Why couldn't I find these things when I was scrolling? I just have too many things. Benches. Oh, the wheelbarrow would be cute. Too big. I might get more of these. The hanging fan on the wall was a really good shout. What do you sell? More cushions. Ooh, baskets. Fruit platter. Do I need any more? Gonna need some more beams. These stools are cute. Okay, so we've stocked up a little bit on the essentials. So we were looking to use some of these cushions to make these barrels look a bit more like jars of things. I don't know if this is what you meant. Oof. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not mad at the generic purple tone of this one. And then maybe this one needs to be, if we can match that emeraldy color that it has. I'm gonna size this one down a tiny bit more. Ooh, the Angora green is cute. Does that just look really garish next to that? Maybe we make it slightly more muted. Or we try and match that silver tone. Don't love the silvers in this game so far. It's probably that one. It's fine. I'll commit. Looks okay. And then we've stocked up on those baskets now, which is good. Just thinking of using one with the handle, just for a little bit of something, since having an open top one is not really any use, because we're not going to be able to see it. I don't mind it being pretty large. Okay, the shelves are starting to look more full. I don't like that we have a Revendreth tome in here. It doesn't really make sense. Let's grab a basket again. I was hoping I had enough books to cover up the fact that it's a Revendreth tome, but I think I've changed my mind. Maybe we can add a little something growing out of this pot just so that it's not too plain. Kind of wondering about having flowers for a change. But I think I've tried to fit these in a pot before. Oh, no, that looks okay. They're very tall. No. I think a different type of flower needs to go in here. Does this look ridiculous? Yeah, that type of flower doesn't... It's not giving realism, is it? A gloom rose? Would you have roses? Probably not. Maybe this one makes sense to have some branches in it, actually. I don't mind that. If they fit. I actually quite like that. Oops. That looks fine. I haven't even used the other one of these stands that has the big watermelons and stuff in it. This is with all the fruit. See, this is... Eesh. This is more tricky because the food itself needs to be the right scale. I mean, this isn't bad. Then would it make sense to put the plate of fruit in front of the stand of fruit? Or is that too much fruit? No, I think that's fine. Added some baskets. Can throw more lights around, maybe. This shelf at the top's looking a bit lonely. I was having issues with this one because it wasn't letting me have the books too far in. Yeah, it's the same issue. Maybe it looks fine, actually. Could anything go on the ceiling of that shelf? Probably not a candle, that would be a bit strange. What's in the wall hanging? I don't have much. Unless I literally just put like a curtain or something up there. This might be strange. Yeah, that looks a bit weird. Okay, we can leave it empty. And then I was considering doing more of these. I had a... Oh no, it's the same chamber stick. I bought one of the... I got 5 of the same. Although I only got one of the fence posts to use as a hook. Maybe we can take one, turn it this way. I was going to rest this one up against the wall. If I can get the right... which axis do we need? This one, right? Yeah. It would look like this, probably. No, maybe I'd put it on the other wall so it looks a bit less samey. The angles get so cuckoo. It's pretty much leaned, isn't it? As long as both, like the handle and the pan are touching, then we hide the candle as best as we can. I can still see it, so I'm considering flipping... What would it be? This one? This way around? See, it's hidden much better from this side now. Okay, I think our shelves are done. Something is missing from this corner. Maybe I'll steal a barrel or something. This one looks okay. Maybe? Yeah, it just needs something. Can't access that cupboard down there, but that's too bad. That's what you get for living in a cluttered house, Grandma. Okay. Now, I think it's safe for us to customize these bar tables because we very much like how this looks. And we should probably now figure out there's a color we'd like to use. Actually, I used the green over here already. Maybe we should just do that. We have enough of each to just duplicate. Okay. Now all that we have left is to actually stock the tops and figure out if there's any use for fishing net. Considering we don't have any like fishing decor, at least I don't currently. Do we want this as a square or do we want it like that? No, a square is better. This one doesn't fit, I fear. I think I'm just going to put a painting up here. I haven't used really any paintings so far. This one's cute. Okay. Pantry. We've got lots of crates, which I think is a good start. Just kind of messily place one or two. Have one closed one and one open top. And again, do we want the exact same heartwood tone, or are we going to make it slightly different because it's not like part of the built-in furniture, if that makes sense? We could use bronze. I like the color of it, but it makes the wood almost a bit shiny because it's technically a metallic. Holy oak tan I've enjoyed in the past. Maybe we could do holy oak tan. What options do we have? The Savannah Gold is okay. I feel like it's quite muted. I guess for ease, I would maybe make these two boxes the same vibe. Like they've come from the same place. Why can't I get the angles of these right now? Nothing looks good to me. Let's do one slightly off center like that and one like this. I just want them pushed together fairly close. Actually, maybe I'll just make them touch. You barely notice that they're clipping. Ooh, we could do the carrots in this one. I I find that idea so funny, making carrots. Let's grab a circle rug. Shrunk down. Raised up. Will it go small enough? Oh. Maybe not quite. We're gonna have to make the box bigger, aren't we? We did it like... Is that as small as it goes? No way. Maybe this box is going to have to be much bigger. You can barely even see it, but I mean, we make it, what was the color? Earth and brown. I mean, I've run out, but maybe heartwood is fine. It's clipping at the back, just don't look at that. If I put one of those carrots in, let's figure out how we would orient them. Oh my goodness. So cute. They're quite huge, but that's okay. I was thinking maybe they could be dug in the ground, like in the soil, but at different angles. Because they look the most convincingly like carrots like this. Hmm. Yeah, I think this is good. It could be different sizes, to be fair. That would make sense. That one could go like that. We have 4 we can put in here, so just cautious about them being too symmetrical. Very adorable. Sure. Should we do a big one in the back? I kind of want it to stick up so you can see it from ground level. Maybe like that. It looks a bit silly when you look at it up close because the green wouldn't wrap around the carrot like that, but we can make one more. Could also just go and get a ton more of these pillow rolls. So there we have a crate of carrots. Freshly picked. Actually, not even picked yet, supposedly. I really wanted to integrate some custom made vegetables into this room, I thought that would be really fitting. So I'm glad that we've been able to make that work. Uh, Trying to find something that will act like a bougie looking dish or plate for this cheese. But I think we're going to need to have the cheese even smaller. Like this looks like a fancy dish. It doesn't really go. Maybe it does actually. It's nice. Sometimes as I scroll through to find things, I then find decor for a separate area or room, and I just have to like bring it out of the storage so that I know to place it. But in this instance, I was going to put it over here anyway, so it works out. Should we pop some ivy over here? I mean, there's ivy on that beam above, so it does kind of make sense. I was thinking something like this. Oh, we could put a book out. Oh, actually, there's a bookmark on this one, which I quite like the look of. Let's flip it around this way. Or does that look strange? It does look a bit strange, actually. Ooh, one thing I do have, hopefully, unless it's in my other build, in which case I need to go and grab it. Oh no. It's a Pandaren alchemy thing, and it's like a little tray table with a small pile of herbs and a little spoon. I feel like that would look really cute in this room. But I've used it in a different build and I don't have the stuff to make another one right now. Annoyingly. A tapestry would look really cute in this little alcove, but I don't have the right type of stuff. Don't think a blood totem banner is really quite the vibe, is it? No, it also has physics, which is lovely, but I don't know. I guess you wouldn't know that that's what that is. It does clip though. Maybe it's fine. I'll remove it. I've been eyeing this item up forever because it's beautiful. And obviously you use it to partition rooms, but would it have any use on a counter? Probably not, right? Can't go wrong with another basket. Maybe this makes sense to have some flowers in it or something. Is there a type of flower I've not really used? Poppies don't make much sense to have in here, do they? Maybe. They're quite pretty, and there's a lot of yellow and gold happening in this corner. Yeah, I don't mind that. The cauldron is functional? I made this in alchemy. Can you do alchemy from this? Oh, you can do cooking. Of course. I'm not going to use this in this build, but that's good to know. That is, oh, what kind of alchemy is that? That's cataclysm alchemy, I think. You can make like a witch's cauldron. Any more crates or moon-blessed storage crate? That doesn't really go. More of the same. Maybe we could add one of these cabinets at the end here. Has to be sticking out slightly from the original counter. We can make the front green still, though. We've been using Grizzly Hills green. Yeah, it just makes it look a little bit different. We can now make this one green too. I was just thinking maybe it makes more sense to actually have one of these baskets next to the counter. I thought it maybe actually, on second look, was a bit strange to have one barrel separate from the rest. K.exe, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it very much. How are you doing today? Yeah, I think a basket there looks better. We're getting a lot of browns and greens in this room. Maybe that Kodo hide brown, it looks more orange to me. We could use one of these muted browns. Gosh, I always think I've done a ton of dye crafting and then I get into actually using them and I think, no, I really haven't. I wish you could preview the dye. I appreciate we're in early access, so I'm grateful that we even have this, if I'm being honest, but with this many color options and how similar some of them are, being able to display them on an item before you buy them or choose to craft them would be a really nice addition to see later on, in my opinion. Maybe this mahogany is nice. Absolutely love your style. Watching to get some ideas for my house. It's so drab compared to yours. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think if you feel like your home is drab, I find personally using a ton of lights helps because naturally the in-game, like the player housing when you just make a room is so dark because there's no windows or anything. So I have these like Borealis bottle lamps, for example, and like a bunch of string lights and lanterns to just warm the place up a little bit. And then that just makes a huge difference in terms of making it feel a bit more cozy. But looks so cozy and lived in. Thank you. That's the vibe we're going for. We're going for as realistic as possible, but I do allow myself some discrepancy to that rule. But yeah, definitely cozy and lived in. I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much. I feel like the pantry is very nearly done. This section is looking empty. I'm trying to think, what on earth could we possibly have left to put here? Ooh, maybe we could make another faux chopping board type thing. Because we've got herbs and spices and stuff here. I've made a chopping board in the kitchen already. I was just looking at this table. I think it's going to be too wide. But this was the kind of thing that I used last time. It being a different color from the rest of the wood is useful. I don't mind it. A big chopping board, but then I feel like something's got to be on the chopping board. I put bread on the last one. What food items do I have left? See, this is all this is already prepared food. This doesn't really work. Also, don't really want meat just sitting out, you know? I could grab one of the fake carrots. No, because then it doesn't look like a carrot. Most of the time in the game is spent doing endgame content. I stream AOTC clears, so watching streams like this is so fun. I get to see where the gaps in my creativity are. That's fun. I raid AOTC as well, but I've always been the type of raider, and I'm in a guild of raiders where once we've got ahead of the curve and re-cleared a few times, it's usually time I'm ready to like put the raid down and do other things, because to me it gets a little bit repetitive. I don't super love raiding. It's fun to like group up with friends twice a week and everything, and it's obviously great for gear, but I'm the same with Mythic Plus. I will do it when it's new and try and get my achievements and everything, and then give it like a couple months once everything is done and I'm ready to go back to like professions and dailies and renown farming, mount farming, stuff like that. And now housing, which is going to take up a huge amount of my time, no doubt. Do I have use for a toolbox? No, that's silly. Put that away. Tell you what, that could probably go in the little storage area, couldn't it? There's eggs in here. Could this be used? No, probably not, right? No, that looks strange. I guess I could put the cheese on the chopping board, but I think the cheese on the nice dish looks quite cute. Do I reheat nachos? Do I get more bread? The only other thing I can think to try is to like hide the plate here so it looks like fruit is ready to be cut up. That actually looks adorable. So maybe we'll do that. I think they're fine in the size that they are. We don't have a means to make like well, I don't have a means to make a fake knife right now, but that's fine. I was thinking of even, I can't tilt it without the plate showing. That's okay. That looks fine. You get the idea of what that is, right? Chopping some fruit. It does like leave that little corner tiny bit bare, but can I honestly just put another lantern? It's like my filler right now is just using those little mason jar lanterns. There is the move. Yeah, I think so too. I just wanted something occupying that space because it was looking a little bit empty. We should probably leave some things a little empty. This book is kind of getting on my nerves. The only other place I can think for it is leaned up here instead. And on more of an angle, not that angle. I always get these axes wrong. It's this one. Nope. This angle and then this angle. I think this looks better, potentially. Although clipping galore. It's very hard when you're working so close up to see the different axes. To be fair, if we put it here, you can see the bookmark as well. That's kind of my favorite part of that book. Is that floating? I don't think it is. It looks like it's defying gravity somehow, but I can't put my finger on why. Maybe we need to lean it more and push it up against the wall if it will go further. And to be honest, maybe the lantern is throwing me off too. Does that look better? I think it was too big to go in this space. So hard to tell the depth. Okay, I think this looks better. We're going to have to give up on the bookmark again, which is sad, but that's okay. It's clipping a little bit. There, I think that looks better and makes a bit more sense. Let's do that. And then maybe this area is kept empty. Any wall hangings we care about? I don't know if this character would have something like this. That does feel a bit cruel. Certainly wouldn't have this. That's terrifying. Maybe another painting? Or no. Maybe this like Tauran tribal banner might be cute. It doesn't super fit the vibe. But if it goes up high enough. I don't hate it. I've also just realized how not centered that beam is into the pillar. Please ignore that. Don't think we've got the time to sit there and adjust that right now. It's fine, you don't notice it. I shouldn't have said anything. Hoping Blizzard color codes the axes like Blender in the pre-patch. That would be very, very useful. Green, blue, and red, I guess. What other paintings do we have? I don't want any of the lore characters. I don't want a map. What does the back of this look like? Is it plain? No, it's the same. I think I have... That's the same painting. I don't have anything else that is kind of the right color scheme. Unless this one does work. Put this away. The gold frame is really garish in my opinion. And I think it's too grand. It's a little portrait of Dalaran. That gold is like yellow, bright yellow. No, I don't like it. I don't think we're having a voodoo mask. What about the sconce? It kind of, again, doesn't super work. And we do have a ton of lights in this room already. But I don't know. Do you know what? We could just make another one of these hanging pans. I think that might be the best option. Nope, I did it wrong. Let me bring this one over here. It could be a different size. That does make sense. You would have different sized pans. I was going to make them the same, but actually, why would I? I think that looks okay. Now, do we raise it up so that they look kind of even, or do we keep one hanging lower? Let's try both options. I think I do prefer them looking like they're even. But then it looks like I've just sized one incorrectly on like by mistake. The hooks would be even with the other one, not the pans themselves. Yeah, I think I'd want the hooks to be even, although having said that, I don't even have another one of these hooks, so I'm gonna have to might quickly look up where that one comes from, or we can just try and make a new one out of whatever we might have two of. Oh. I'm kind of wondering if you can just use the chamber stick again at a different angle, and that way it looks like a hook, but it's gonna bleed into itself, isn't it? Doesn't make sense. Let me look up where the Dranic fence post comes from. Oh, it comes from the vendor in Ashran. It does apparently cost Apexis crystals, which could be a problem. Legacy. Oh gosh.
Bruh.
God, that made me jump. If I do have any, they'll be on my priest, because she played Warlords of Draenor, poor thing. All of this just to get a fake hook for my pantry. Before we make the big trip to Ashram, we'll check if we have the crystals at all. I didn't love that they weren't showing up in my thingy, but currency, legacy, Warlords of Draenor. I have 90,000 Apexis crystals, so I think we're fine. Wow, I really played Warlords of Draenor. To be fair, I do have a fully upgraded garrison on this character as well. Which means I have a portal to Ashran too, which is very, very handy.
Slay!
wonder what else is on this vendor. I've clearly seen them before because I have the fence post already. Where exactly are they? Oh. They're like here. Oh, they're inside, I think. I think they're inside. Is it you?
Greetings.
Oh my goodness, I never bought these. Oh wait, I didn't buy this one. That's adorable. Oh, I missed that the first time. I'm buying like 5 of those. Dranathist Lantern. How did I miss these? I didn't buy this one, or this one. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to use that, but I need it. Ooh. Beautiful. Grand Dranathist Lamp. I'm going to run out of garrison resources, but I can just get, what, like 500 a day or something? It was...
How can I help?
I'm looking for, apparently, /tart trader K-roll.
What are we without the sky?
Time is money, friend. Have a go.
None of these guys.
Belayadoros, Dionysaka.
I definitely didn't miss it, did I? The lantern, the topiary, and then that stuff. It's none of these guys. /tart trader K-rel. Oh, he's right there. Hello. Yeah, so I need some fence posts. That is really obnoxious to cost gold and currency like that. But hey, at least I've got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I'm going to use this fence right now. Or the nice lamp. There are some nice things on these vendors, though. Hi, Nikki. How are you doing? My favorite color is purple. I need them. My boyfriend's favorite color is purple, too. I like it. Mine is green. So together we accidentally make, like, Dark Moon Fair vibes. Purple and green. But the Draenei themed stuff is really, really pretty. I'd love to make a Draenei themed build for like a... We could do it on stream in a separate house, but it would make a great like speed build on YouTube and stuff. I think there's enough to make something out of it. Okay. I think you can retire. I'm just going to lock her out here, I think. I'm good. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. It's been a busy stream of building a pantry from scratch so that we have another room finished in the house. We've got a kitchen, a reading nook, a greenhouse. The reading nook isn't really a room, but and now we almost have a pantry, as you can see. So we want the Dranic fence post, which is this one. Let me get the right scale. We're scaling it all the way down to 20. And then I tipped it this way. In fact, let me use my trick. just because I want it as identical to the original one as possible, I'm putting it over the top and then adjusting it from there. It's a little bit difficult. The angle can be slightly different because, hey, I can't put two hooks in at the exact same angle. I'm no crafts person. That's pretty close though, to be fair. Let's do that. And then just, it's going to have to stick out further from the wall because the second pan is bigger. That's such a tiny detail, I really don't think you'd see it. Nice. Looks amazing so far. Thank you very much. I'm pleased with how it's coming along. How are you guys getting on with housing so far? Have you made a start if you're in early access? I avoided it for a long time because I was scared of it, honestly. I was just collecting stuff, telling myself that that would make me feel more prepared. And I guess in a way it has, because I quite easily get a vision in my head of what I want to make, but it's obviously whether or not I have the means, the decor with which to make those visions come to life. And the more decor I had, then the easier time I have executing my visions, you would think. Do we think this room is finished? I feel like it probably is, actually. There's a net at the end. What would we put on there? The only thing I can think is like plants. But I don't know if that would look a bit strange. Not to be gross, but I mean, it is a fishing net, so having like fish on there would have been quite funny. For realism, that's not really the place for it, but I don't know, I just feel like something needs to go on that wall and I'm not sure what it is. I've made a little progress on my house. I really put it off though, haven't finished it. No, I think mine is going to be a work in progress for a very, very long time, and who knows how they're going to keep housing content rolling in terms of how often we see new decor items and things. I'm sure it'll be the case that I return to it over and over when I get a new idea or new stuff comes out. I'm just trying to see it as like a ongoing project for now. Okay, I'm wandering aimlessly around the pantry, so I think we're done. At least for now. Let's see what progress we've made. So you come into the pantry from the kitchen area, because I thought that made sense. This is the kitchen for people who haven't seen it. We made a custom fridge because I wasn't happy with how it looked by making one out of the Silver Moon style pillar, the white pillar. I tried that and it stayed for a while until I realized everything else was going to be wood, and I just thought it stuck out like a sore thumb. And then obviously a place to cook with a custom backsplash and a little dish of some kind on the go. Some cups, some plants and other clutter. There's a ton of shelving things, books, baskets. And then we've got some food laid out on the table. There is clipping, but I tried my best to cover it up with the blanket. A basin with a little bar of soap. I was really proud of that tiny detail. A nice vase of flowers. Another chopping board with some bread. We have a greenhouse out here with a custom sky. I can't wait to have access to the actual exterior style rooms in Midnight. That will make this room look so much better, I think. And then the pantry. So I actually did this off stream, but we have a little winery. So we have a bushel of grapes here, which comes from this archway item, which is like by default quite large, but I shrunk it down and made it fit in this area with a basket and a nice trellis with vines. And then we've just added and expanded from there. So we've got an actual barrel of grape juice coming out of this keg. I believe this item in particular is from alchemy. I want to say Burning Crusade, maybe? Lots of kegs, and then probably more alcohol over here. There's a bottle shipment from Zandalar, which is true because it's from Zandalari BFA Alchemy. So spirits and liquors over here. Some custom looking jars and vases of things. Some more books. Some pans, which I got the idea from chat today. Thank you very much. A little custom spice rack up there. That's just clutter at the top. There's a vase of dead flowers and some boxes. And then another little custom mini herb garden, sack of potatoes. Is that lantern clipping into the wall? And why is the answer yes? There we go. We've got a chopping board. Got a recipe book, more produce, some custom carrots made out of cushions. Now that I look at it, maybe I want this one to be shrunk down ever so slightly more. Cheese on a nice bougie plate. And then that's kind of it. The other thing I did off stream for this room was add the exposed beams at the top. I just thought the ceiling in this room needed to feel lower. And it's a nice way to make it feel like a kind of barn style conversion. And then we have technically, if we're going to edit floor plan, added a closet room off to the side of this pantry for the purposes specifically of making these little built-in shelving units because the room itself wasn't wide enough otherwise. So there's nothing in that room and you can't access it at all, but that's fine. I just wanted the room to have a bit more going on, make it feel a bit more dynamic than just flat walls. So I think we're sorted for now. I'd love like a runner, like a rug to go in this space, but I don't think any of them are quite the right vibe because they need to be long, but they also need to be the right color because I don't think you can customize most of them. And they're typically blue and red and purple. That's actually quite pretty. But again, not quite the right shades. This can be customized. I hadn't noticed that. What does this look like when you customize it? Ooh. Maybe it does work. Okay, I can't actually even focus on it when it's this big. Hang on. I was going to make it... I don't love the tassels. And I wish it were slightly longer. But it does kind of do exactly what I was hoping it would do. Color. Probably green. But... the same green, or is that boring? Do we branch into like a yellow? Maybe we bring more of the purple? I just want it to be dark. And I fear that all the purples are too dark. Maybe that's pretty actually, the Forsaken Plum. You can't customize the little blue bobbles on the side. On the corners. Hey Rogue, how are you doing today? Oh, window K. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that message. I went so hog wild with the windows in the other room. I'll show you. Um, I'm committing to the purple rug. Why not? I might regret it. There's so many windows in this room because we made a skylight, and then there's windows in the room at the back as well. I thought I'd give myself a break from windows because they were really tricky to place. And as you say, a pantry typically wouldn't have windows, I don't think. But yeah, it would have been a nice thing to like use this wall. I'm happy to leave the net on it for now, and who knows, maybe we replace it, maybe we find things to put on the net. But I think the pantry is finished, which is good going. Perhaps I'm biased, but yes, the purple looks so good. I'm good, just going for rare drops again. Nice, good luck. Now, the pantry is done. The other area I was thinking we could try and work on today is this storage area. When you first come into the house, I've blocked off this tiny corner because I couldn't think of how to use it otherwise. And at the top of the stream, I mentioned my plan for this room, and I think it's going to be doable. What I would like to do in this room is block the ceiling off, like bring it down lower like this, and create a custom inaccessible loft space. I kind of want to challenge myself to make a ladder. So I was thinking have a little hatch in the ceiling and a fake ladder going up, because this room's probably just going to have barrels and not much else in it. So maybe we try and do that. I was actually thinking it would be really nice to use these platforms. They're actually like the Orgrimmar orc style ones. But I'd have to go and get more potentially. Or we can just use these ones. I mean, it's a ceiling. I think it's fine. I was thinking, I also made little custom steps going up into it. If the hatch goes sort of up here, that means, how do we go about this? Probably sizing a few of these down. It's also a question of how low do we put the ceiling. I want it to be quite cramped in here. That's not a bad first placement. I'm really good at making rooms so small that decorating them is actually very difficult. We make this 60%. I don't want it to clip through. So maybe we just elevate it slightly above the original one. Or do it the other way around, because then you can't see it as clearly. Bring this one down and raise this one up. That looks better, doesn't it? And then probably two smaller ones. Maybe even the angled ones. I haven't used any of these yet. I was thinking originally of just making it a square entrance. But maybe this works. How would this look? Does that make it more interesting to make it like a diamond shape, half a diamond? Maybe we'll just do square. Easier. I feel like it might look a bit strange. Or actually, maybe it looks fine. See, now this is the kind of tips I'm here for. Making custom ceilings. So smart. Yeah, I just feel like it's good that they've given us so much space to work with in the rooms as they come. But if you want to go for a homely, cluttered, lived-in vibe, the ceilings feel way too tall. And it's such a contributor to a space feeling empty and cold, in my opinion. Like I say, it's good that the option's there because it means you can be super creative with like big builds. But it just means if you want to make it look a bit more cozy, then you have to put in a bit of extra work. Like create your own custom ceilings. So I've done, so far I've really taken advantage of that. I've made the skylight in the kitchen to make the ceiling look a bit more interesting. And then we've also done the exposed beams in the pantry. Maybe just... I thought this was looking quite good, but then I think if I make a ladder to go here, it's going to be like a really tight space. So maybe we just put a square one here. Again, so sorry for the camera angle. This is tragic. 60%. This one's going to have to be smaller. Have we got any clipping? No, we're fine. Eesh. All these different slats of wood overlapping is not the nicest to look at, but it's okay. No, see, this doesn't work. Maybe what we do then is actually just leave that whole part open and just have a ladder. Like I could put a barrel up here so that it sort of an example of, hey, we go upstairs, we use the upstairs, except we don't. Like giving an angle there gives you like a little preview of what is up there. It's probably just going to be this one barrel on its own, poor thing, but makes it look more realistic, maybe. Looks like a pseudo attic, exactly. And also it gives me a reason to use this elven barrel because this color scheme is not, well, you can customize it. I'm not going to do that for a barrel I'm never going to see ever again. So how would we make a ladder? We probably need these like beams, or maybe I should use beam platforms because you can change the size of them. Let's see if I've bitten off more than I can chew, shall we? Because sizing these down is not only going to make them skinnier, it's going to make them shorter. If you guys have any ideas of items, decor items that are like could potentially be made into a ladder, let me know. Because I was really hoping that I'd be able to make these pillars really thin. So what I think we're going to have to do is just stack a bunch of them. And just hope that the overlap isn't crazy. Let's try. I'm going to place... The ladder itself, I think, is going to go straight, like rather than on that... I just pointed at my monitor. Rather than on this angle, because I think squeezing a ladder here looks a bit clumsy, potentially. And then it means realistically you wouldn't put a barrel there, because that's where you go up and down. So I was thinking of putting it straight on this angle here. So I'm just trying to figure out if that's in the right place for that to happen, which we can do by raising it up. It's pretty spot on. Bring it like... That's kind of what I was going for. Maybe we start at the top, that might be smart. And then we shrink it all the way down, flip it 90 degrees. And then comes the pretty painstaking process of lining them up, but we're in this together. You can't see too badly that these are joining like that. I think it's okay. How far can you push them together without it looking weird? Okay, so there's always going to be like somewhat of a seam. I think it looks okay. I will also say for those watching live right now, any unsubbed people, there is an ad starting in about 30 seconds. I'm very sorry. Right as we get into the meat of making a ladder with a custom attic. I think a last one's going to fit pretty nicely in that bottom space there. Okay, thank you for using your Prime sub here. I appreciate that very much. That's very kind of you. I refuse to watch ads. I'm not in front of my gaming PC at the moment to check, but is there an upside down lamppost you could use? Ooh, that probably would have been a shower or like a fence post. I didn't think about that. Maybe hide the seam with your cross beams. Cross beams. What do you mean by cross beam? Let's get the last one on this side set up, and then we'll see where we're at. This one is probably going to shrink, like, clip into the floor, but that's totally fine. Oh, the rungs on the ladder. Yes, of course. That will probably help hide the seams, won't it? Damn, it is hard to see. Oh, I can't get this one right. This one's really bugging me. The lighting on this is strange. Do you see that? Why is this one... Oh. I turned it on a different angle, didn't I? There we go. That's why it looks weird. I put it down funny when I got it out of the catalogue. This is looking good. This is looking good. Okay. So then let's get a realistic spacing between these rungs. First of all, I'm just gonna line it up this way. Like so. And then we're probably doing it like this. It comes out further into the room than I thought, but it's fine. Like I say, we're not going to use this room. I'm going to chuck some barrels in and some clutter, and I'd love to use some cobwebs, but I don't have any. And kind of call it a day, because the loft is the feature of this room, which you will barely even see, sadly. I knew all these years of playing The Sims would pay off eventually in World of Warcraft. First person camera is pretty useful for this sort of thing when you're in such a small room. One more for the vertical anyway. Oops. It's more or less like this, right? I'm actually going to line it up with this one. Easy. Oh, but then it doesn't line up here. Why are they not lined up? Oh, no, they are. It just needs to be pushed forward. Like that. Cool. And we need more of these. Hopefully they shrink down small enough to go in between. If not, we'll just have to widen the gap. I mean, we accidentally did that perfectly. I didn't measure that at all. So how many do we do? I'd really love to cover up the seams if I can. But honestly, it only covers up on the inside anyway, so we can actually just put them wherever we feel. You'd put one pretty close to the ground. I think I'm going to miss most of the seams, but that's fine. Like this. This spacing feels okay, doesn't it? You can barely see it. There's so much wood going on. I think that looks kind of normal. Can we get this one bang on this seam? I think we can. It's pretty much exactly where we would want to put it, isn't it? Maybe even slightly higher. Am I going to run out? I need to check how many I've got left. I only need, what, like 2 or 3 more? To about there. Gosh, I wish I had better angles to look at all of this. That's not a bad angle I just got by accident. I'm like in the ground for some reason. I have 8 more, so we've got plenty. This is surely the last one. Maybe... Oh, it's clipping. Why is it clipping? There? You wouldn't even use that rung, would you really? That's fine. It's better than having nothing, and if I close that gap anymore, we'd have to rearrange the rest, I fear. So we have a custom ladder for our custom attic. Probably should have thought about this before, but can we like, how small can fences go? Because I mean, you don't want to fall while you're up there. I think this might look a bit silly. It's also the wrong shade of wood. Oh gosh. These axes are killing me. Axes. I mean, that actually looks pretty cute. We just need a different type. Maybe the Algari one? Yeah, that's much better. I just wanted something that is going to match the wood tone. But I didn't want to struggle finding the right thing if it wasn't going to work at all. Slightly bigger. I think we might be able to get away with literally just using this and nothing else, because unless you come at it from this specific angle, you can't see that there isn't more up there. Although it does mean I've like pushed the barrel out of the way because it clips. I've just been raising it up to create a bit of an optical illusion. You can't even tell that it's floating unless you jump. I do actually have another fence post that we could use. The level of detail I'm willing to go to for something that you won't see, it's because I know that it's there, and now you guys do too. It is pretty difficult to tell if it's even like level. Oh, it's surely not. I'm trying to make them the right size, and I've just realized that the fence is actually clipping over the top of this one because it's so small. But I think it's gonna have to be like that. I did not mean to do that. Get back up there. I think it's still clipping, but I think it's okay. I think if I make it any bigger, it's gonna just look a bit silly. There we go. It's the perfect place for a sneaky Easter egg. What kind of Easter egg would we put up there? What's the Easter egg to? I mean, I could have a treasure pile up there. She's like a rich grandma, you wouldn't know. She hoards her wealth up there. Sadly, can I get up there? Like, at all? No, I don't think I can. If I just moved the beams for a second, I'd be able to get up there. Oh. I clipped onto one of them for a second. No, it's okay. No access allowed, I'm afraid. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, the seams are a little bit annoying. And Kay's idea of hiding them with the rungs was a good one, except I couldn't space them correctly to make it work. And they'd have to be sized up to cover the seams this way. Just out of interest, how does it look? If we push this one this way. See, I do think that does look better, but I think we're just gonna let it be on this occasion. The only other thing I was thinking of putting were like fake pipes, but the problem is these are, I don't think these were the type I was really thinking, but I think they are the only option we have. I think you get them from Koresh, so I can probably get plenty more, but they are a bit obnoxiously large, I think. Maybe make the ladder more narrow to allow them to stick out the side. Yeah, we could actually. I feel like this. Maybe I think the width of this is okay in terms of like realism. Where would I put the pipes? Probably up in the back so that they can be hidden because they're low-key ugly. I feel like I don't quite have enough pipes to make this go up to the ceiling. Annoyingly. I don't think I'm prepared to have these pipes any bigger than they are. Like, tiny is the only way, I think. And then unless we use the exposed ethereal pipe, I think this is the only pipe option we have left. Until I go and buy more. I don't mind it. Again, I'm kind of prepared for this room to be a little bit ugly because, I mean, storage rooms are, right? You don't decorate them. Although getting the angles. We want this to go the other way, right? I'm trying to get it to go up. Please. Which axis do I need? This one? I'm not sure at what point I veered away from just right angles, but apparently I did for this one. What if I low-key just do it again? go up. And then we want this top one on a right angle. And then hopefully if we do this at the correct right angle, I'm assuming it's at the correct angle to meet with this one, more or less. It is. Although it does look weird. It's the reason I'm not a plumber. I don't like that piece, I've decided. I guess I would just take another straight piece, long ethereal pipe segment. It costs 5. Surely this is Karash. It is Omsirik for resonance crystals. Good thing I didn't go there because I actually don't have enough to buy more things with resonance crystals, so that's okay. What if, with the limited resources we have, we do this instead? Put it behind the barrels so then we can hide much more of it. So then we don't have to buy more. No, let's put it where it was. Give me 90 degrees, please. Maybe we don't even need... Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe we only need 2 pieces now, but this top one hopefully looks okay. It can like clip through the ceiling. I don't really mind about that. Don't think I'm cutting out a segment in the ceiling for the pipe to run through, let's be honest. There we go. Then we have some pipes going on. Covered by the barrels and the fact that those pipes definitely don't go to the ground. Gonna just conceal my sins as best as I can here. Slay. Oh no. I don't think there's much more going in this room, if I'm perfectly honest. We probably have more types of barrels. An orcish one that's open, I think. Oh no, it's closed. What do some of them look like turned on their sides? Again, I don't love the look of the spikes. I get that it's orcish, so it doesn't really belong in this home period, but actually, let's not get it on a perfect corner. Slightly off. Like that, more or less. And then we have a ton of crates, right? We could have more of the crates we have in the pantry, although I think maybe these types would suit better. Could maybe have an open one sitting on the top. And at an angle. We can customize it, why not? Do we have wood tones that somewhat match this room? Or we just go very different? The bronze isn't too bad. I'm going to use a dye on the screw color. That seems unnecessary. How about Iron Claw? It's an ugly color, but it works. Off to work for a bit, so I'll be lurking. Have a good rest of your stream if you sign off before I get back. Thank you. Hope work goes well. What is this gobcanical trash heap? Honestly, maybe that belongs in here, unfortunately. In the open box. Oh, it doesn't quite fit. What about that toolbox? It's like gnomish. I think that's a little bit too on the nose. Oops. I mean, it's hidden enough that you don't see quite how garish it is. Sure, why not? I won't use it anywhere else. All the cogs. I guess a light. You would need a light in here, wouldn't you? Would you put a whole chandelier? Probably not. Maybe one of these Kirin Tor chandeliers. I know it looks a bit strange. But honestly, maybe it works. Is that a little bit too bougie for this room? Maybe it is. Could even just hang a table lamp from the ceiling, turn it upside down. Like this sort of thing was kind of the vibe I was imagining. Because I don't love the light options we have currently. But that sort of thing just is a kind of shoddy small light you would have in a storage room like this, I think. Would that have any place in there? Maybe. Any other clutter type items? A crate, another crate. Maybe that's it. Don't think we're putting like flowers or anything in there. So the only other thing I would maybe put is like a little curtain. Oh, I did at one point consider having like a fake door. But now that I've put steps in, I don't think that's going to work. I'm going to use a slightly different type of curtain from the ones I've used so far. I was thinking about these. They're the wrong color right now, but we can fix that. I don't mind this being pretty hidden. Maybe something like this. I'd love for the sides to not be super visible. Something like this. Maybe. What color is this? Forsaken plum. Should we just do the same? Probably. Okay. Maybe we add some cobwebs and things to this room once we actually have those at our disposal. But I think for now, that is the storage room finished as well. I'm gonna heighten the curtains ever so slightly. At that point, it sort of begs the question, is it worth having a curtain there at all? But I don't want just an exposed archway if I can help it. So just having something to break that space up a little bit and you still have a teaser of what's in that room makes sense in my brain. So that's a completely finished pantry, a finished kitchen, a greenhouse, a reading nook, and a little storage fake loft area. I think that's pretty good going. I'm going to wrap up the stream here for today. Thank you guys as always for joining. It's been a pleasure to have you. I hope you enjoyed. I am due back on stream on Wednesday this week at 2 p.m. GMT, the same time as today. I hope to catch you guys then, but for now, I wish you a fabulous rest of your Monday. Enjoy the start of your week, and I hope to catch you all again very, very soon. Bye.